Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to EET522 Distributed Generation. So in this lecture, we will learn about the Renewable Resources Distributed Generation Part 2. In this lecture, we will learn about the solar collector that have been used for power generation. Okay, these are the technology used for solar collector for power generation. The first one is the parabolic through. Okay, in this technology, they use the parabolic mirror that receive the solar radiation, and the solar radiation will be concentrated to the pipe that contain the thermal fluid that go through the parabolic mirror. Okay, so the concentration of the solar radiation to the pipe will heat up the liquid or the fluid inside the pipe. The second technology is the Linear Fresnel. So it's a little bit different from this one. Have a long pipe in the middle, and they have a curved mirror located at the side, both sides, and this mirror will receive the solar radiation, and the solar radiation will be focused on the center pipe here. The third technology use the dish, okay, and the engine. So when it receives the solar radiation from the sun, it will be concentrated to this turbine here, and it will be used to generate electricity. Okay, the last one is the technology that use the concept of central receiver or the power tower. So in this concept, you will have a solar tower in the middle, and then you will have a lot of heliostat, we call it, the mirror that will be pointed to the center, to the top of the tower, and it will heat up the molten sand inside this storage, and this one will be used to heat up or to power up the turbine by producing the steam and power up the turbine. So we will go through each of these technology in this lecture. Okay, we have so many technology that can be used to harness the solar radiation and convert it for electrical generation, but most of them use the similar concept. Okay, so when you receive the solar heat, it will be collected by the solar thermal collector in the form of several form. Okay, can have the parabolic, like we mentioned before, the linear Fresnel, the power tower and everything, but the same concept, it will be used, it will focus the sunlight or the sun energy to one focus point. Okay, and this heated liquid will be used to boil water, okay, and create the steam. Okay, and then this steam will pass through the turbine, okay, and then the turbine will drive the generator and will generate the electricity. So most of them will use this concept to generate electricity. Okay, now we look at the solar collector, the parabolic through technology. Okay, as I mentioned before, the name come from the shape of the mirror that been used here. Okay, so when the solar radiation come, it will be concentrated to this middle pipe here. Okay, this pipe contain the fluid, okay, At this part, the fluid will be heated up, okay, and flow through this solar superheater, okay, and we furthermore go to the steam generator. So the steam generator will receive the water from here, okay. The green one indicate that this is the cool water, okay, and the yellow one mean that is in term of steam or in gas form, okay. uh, you can see that at this point, after the steam is generated, it will be passed to solar superheater to superheat the steam, and this one will be powered, will be sent to the turbine to power the turbine, to rotate the turbine, and furthermore to generate the electricity, okay. If it didn't receive enough superheated steam at this point, this is the backup supplementary natural gas boiler. So the same cool water here will be passed through the boiler, and the boiler will heat up the water here and become the heated steam and pass to the turbine. So this is just a supplementary. If this one, the heated fluid from here is not enough to power the turbine, so they will use the natural gas boiler to support the operation of this generator, okay. And then we have the cooling tower that pump the cooling water here, so to ensure that this part of the fluid is cooled down, okay. Okay, this is the example of the parabolic through power station. So in this case, the picture here show the Untitled solar power station in Spain that is able to produce around 150 megawatt of power. So you can view this video about the Untitled 3 through this YouTube video. So this is not the explanation about the power plant, but it's just the overview in terms of the we say the bird's eye view of the solar power plant. So go have a look at this video and see the massive power plant that produce 150 megawatt of power. Okay, the next technology that we will go through at this point is the Linear Fresnel reflector. So we have the center or the middle tube here, and we have a curved mirror, okay, the horizontal curved mirror that will reflect the sunlight or sunbeam to the center tube here, okay. All the parabolic through share the same focal point, which is the white pipe in the top part of the picture, this one, okay. See that heated up and shining, become shining here, okay, because it's too hot inside here, okay. So in this linear Fresnel reflector, it have the water pump up through the center pipe here or the center tube. So inside here we have water running through this. So when the linear Fresnel reflector reflected the sunbeam to the center tube here, the water inside the tube will be heated up and become steam, okay, and this steam drive a turbine and drive the generator here and to generate the electricity. So the cool water here flow back to the condenser, okay, the cool steam here flow back to the condenser, and it become water again at this point, and this process repeat itself. Okay, this is the example of the solar collector linear Fresnel power plant. So it is Puerto Herrado 2, also in Spain. Start operation in 31st March 2012, and the capacity is around 30 megawatt. Okay, the mirror surface of this power plant is around 302,000 meters square. Okay, so if you want to have a look at this solar, like the Linear Fresnel power plant, click at this YouTube link, and then you can see the explanation about the technology used in this power plant. This is the picture of the Porto Herrado 2 power plant. Okay, this is the middle tube that I mentioned before, and we have a lot of mirror to reflect the sunlight to this center tower. Okay, so it's very nice technology, and if you already watched the video of the Puerto Herrado, you will know the massive or the scale of this big power plant we have here. Okay, this is the next technology that can be used to generate electricity from the solar energy. Okay, in this use the solar dish or Stirling engine system. So when you receive the uh, solar radiation from the sun, it will be uh, focused to the center unit using the mirror here. So the middle unit is a receiver and as well as generator. So within this generator, which is a Stirling generator, use the piston engine that have a gas, okay, that perform a thermodynamic cycle that can turn the heat into the mechanical energy. Okay, because it uses a direct conversion of the heat to the mechanical energy. So this Stirling engine is the world's most efficient device for the conversion of solar energy to grid electricity. So usually it's around twice as efficient as any other solar technology, okay, that use steam and solar tower. Okay, so if you want to see the concept and detailed explanation about the how this Stirling engine work, you can click this YouTube video and watch the 10 kilowatt Stirling engine generator. Okay, this is how the parabolic dish power plant look like in Spain, in Villa Robledo, Spain. So a lot of this single unit are used to generate the power. Okay, this is another example of the parabolic dish solar power plant. This one is in United States. So in this power plant, it generates around 1.5 megawatts of energy. Okay, so it is located in Maricopa, United States. So if you want to view the video, you can click this YouTube link to see the how this power supply or the power plant works. Okay, this is the last technology that we will cover in our lecture, which is the solar tower receiver. Okay, so in this concept we will have a central tower that will be a focus for all the mirror around it. They will focus the sunlight through the or to the solar tower. Okay, you can see that this is the solar tower, and these are all the mirrors that will be focusing the energy from the sun or the sunlight from the sun to the center tower. Okay, this slide shows how the solar tower concept work. Okay, when you have the sunlight received here, it will be reflected by the thousands of mirrors around the power tower. So by having that, we will concentrate all of the sunlight to the receiver here. Okay, in the receiver, it will have some tube or pipe that contain the molten salt. Okay, the material used is the molten salt due to the high heat containment characteristic of the molten salt. So this molten salt, after it been heated up, it can be stored in the storage uh, until it is required. Okay, and if this molten salt is required straight away, it will go to this container and then pump to the steam generator. Okay, and will drive the turbine here. Okay, and the turbine will also drive the generator to produce the electricity. Okay, in YouTube I find two very interesting or very comprehensive explanation about the concept of solar power tower. So have a look. Okay, especially this video, the animation one, is very informative. Okay, it's cover all the information theory about this solar power tower technology. So please have a look at this animation 1 and animation 2 to understand more about this technology. Okay, this is the example of the solar power plant that use the solar tower concept. This is called the Solar One in Mojave Desert, USA. So it used 1818 large mirrors, or we call it heliostat, to concentrate the sun light or sun uh, radiation to the central receiver. So this power plant has been completed in 1981 and operational from 82 to 1986 only. Okay, it's produced 10 megawatt of power, and after that it has been redesigned and renamed as Solar 2. Okay, for the continuation, after the Solar 1 has been converted to Solar 2, and a second ring of 108 larger 95 meter square of heliostat are added around the existing Solar 1. So this is some sort of extension of the Solar 1 power plant, and they call that Solar 2. And this one also decommissioned, okay, in 1999 and converted into the Air Cherenkov telescope in 2001. Okay, and in 2009 this solar tower has been demolished, so no more Solar 2 power plant. Okay, this is the remaining picture of the Solar 2. Okay, you can see the scale of it is very huge, and this is the central tower. Okay, so because all the sunlight has been concentrated, so it become like the very bright in the middle here. Okay, the next power plant is the Gama Sola. This is 3 times the size of the Solar 2, and it is located in Seville, Spain. And this one utilized 2,650 heliostat, and each of them has 120 meters square of area. Okay, so the storage system that this power plant utilizes is able to produce electricity for 15 hours without the sunlight. So if they stored enough molten salt in the storage, they can use it, okay, maybe at night to generate electricity. Okay, it can last 15 hours, very long time. Okay, so this power plant can produce around 19.9 megawatt of power, and it is enough to supply the power to 27,500 homes, and it's operational since May 2011. Okay, and this is the Gama Sola power plant in Spain. Okay, and then we go to the next power plant, which is the Ivanpah Solar Electric Generating System in Mojave Desert, California. Why they have so many power plant in the desert, Mojave Desert? Because this is a desert. Of course, it will receive a lot of sun radiation in the desert. So many of the power plant in United States that utilize the solar thermal will be built in the desert. Okay, and it can produce around 392 megawatt. So this is the biggest capacity to date, and it utilized 173,500 heliostat. Okay, and it formally opened in 2014, and it consists of 3 solar thermal power plants. So in this big power plant, it have a smaller 3 solar thermal power plant, and it covers the area of 3,500 acres. So when I mentioned that previously that it have a 3 power plant, it means that it have 3 solar tower here, okay, in Ivanpah. Okay, and this is the satellite view of the power plant. You can see that this is the central tower, this is central tower, and this is the central tower for the third one. So all of this area have a heliostat in it that will focus all the sun radiation to the center tower. Okay, this is the close-up view of the Ivanpah solar electric generating system, or the solar power plant. So if you want to see the video of the working principle and the overall view of the power plant, the Ivanpah solar power plant, you can click this YouTube video. Okay, the inside the world largest solar power plant. So because this is the largest solar power plant in the world. Okay, these are some the benefit and the limitation of the solar thermal power generation. Okay, some of the solar thermal generation technology can be used to store the energy. Okay, like the solar power tower can be used to store energy in term or in the form of molten salt, and then when you want to generate the electricity, you can use it to generate the steam, and the steam can be used to run the turbine and generate electricity using the generator. Okay, and then the other benefit is capable of producing high value electricity for meeting the peak demands. And the limitation is limited to large scale application. Okay, because usually when people want to do this kind of technology, they will go for the large scale, in which it can give a economical advantage. Okay, and it's only suitable in some high sunshine area, okay, like the desert area. Okay, I think that's all the material that has been covered, okay, in the second part of this lecture. So I just refresh back. In this lecture we cover 4 technologies that has been used to generate electricity using the solar thermal concept. Okay. If you have any question about this, you can text me, or you can ask me during our synchronous lecture later on. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.